All right, guys, welcome back to Mesopotamia Say What. And I'm not even going to try to do the Say What voice because I am messed up, y'all. So, as you know, I haven't posted anything, any videos for, geez, maybe 3 weeks now, maybe even more. Fact is, I've been laid up with COVID, and it hit me pretty hard. And it's weird because I had the two-part Pfizer shot, and I had two boosters, and it didn't even matter, I guess, because it hit me. I mean, I didn't have to go to a hospital or anything, so that's good. But yeah, man, it can be really bad, and also it can not be that bad at all. So I don't know what the hell is up. After like 2 years, I thought I was like, no, maybe I have a natural immunity to this, even though I was pretty careful or whatnot. But still, oh man, I was sleeping a lot and just laying low, man. I'll tell you. I'm going to try not to cough in the mic, so I'm going to turn my head if I have to cough or whatever. But I did test negative for the second time a couple days ago. So now I just kind of have the lingering, having to blow my nose and coughing and stuff. But pretty sure I'm not infectious anymore. Probably go back to work this week. But anyway, uh, sorry for disappearing. I kind of tried to pop up occasionally and take care of some gaming business. But as you might be able to tell here, this game's gone to hell. So let me just remind you of what the scenario was. We had me making a straight corridor to the first oil field, and I was very successful with that, just doing my thin corridor to the oil field. Then I came over and took this second, what you might think of as a natural expansion over here. And then I went over to the island and took a third and was kind of enjoying seeing my friend down here, James Calloway, watching him get Baghdad here. He took it and he was very inactive. He wasn't a very active player, so it took him a long, long time, but he finally did take it. And I know it's a lot of fun to take that 9 territory, like hardcore oil field. So he took it. And then I was just sort of solidifying. That's what you do, just build up your industry in all three of the oil fields. One thing I was finding, so I've never won this game without taking Baghdad. Um, so in this case, I was thinking about jumping over to this oil field over here, taking this one, or potentially even better, maybe taking the oil field over here, because there is an active player. Emperor of Africa is still playing this game, and you can tell he's got a lot of territory. So I think I was really more going to go for this territory over here. It just made a lot more sense. I think this was owned by Portugal. Yeah, Portugal at the time, who who's been gone from the game for a while. So anyway, I'm building up my industry. I finally have a large enough invasion force sort of concentrated up here, and I've got my home to protected. I've got a corridor of rails. I like to build my railways up my central corridor. I had railways between these two so I could move material back and forth. I had railways between these two and harbors, of course, harbors on both sides. So everything was going pretty well. I start to move out my massive force, and I notice that James Calloway here, who used to own Baghdad here, has gone AFK, but he's still blue. So I'm like, okay, he's still blue. So I'm moving, and it takes days to move all the way across all this territory. And don't forget, like, I didn't own any of this territory over here at all. So I'm having to conquer through a lot of this because I just went straight to this and took it. Anyway, after a couple days, game time, James Calloway goes beige because he's been gone from the game so long that the AI has now removed my right of way. And as you guys probably know, the next step after that is that the AI goes to war with you. And my popularity by that time in the game was very low. It was like 15% or something. I could just check right now. My popularity is even worse now, I imagine 12%. So at that point, I was presented with a conundrum. I couldn't move through his lands to take this fourth, which is what I wanted to do. And at that point, he'd been gone from the game like 5 or 6 days, to the point where his AI was no longer, um, allied with me, no longer allowing right of way. I mean, we had shared map for the whole game. So, and that with the fact that he'd been inactive for a long time, I was kind of like, okay, well, what I'm going to have to do here is take Baghdad. That's all I can think of doing, taking Baghdad. So went ahead and took Baghdad, and in the process of taking Baghdad, lost my first oil field, and lost it because I had sent so much power up to try to take Baghdad through my other avenues. I just misplaced it. And by the way, keep in mind, COVID, man, I was sleeping like 20 hours a day, um, just really trying to lay low. If I wasn't sleeping, I was laying in bed, blowing my nose, and wishing I was asleep. Um, so I lost this oil field, but I gained Baghdad. And I will tell you one thing I did learn is trying to survive with three of the mega oil fields was almost impossible. I had no oil. I was running really low on oil. So it made me realize you really need this. You really need this quadruple big daddy oil field here churning out. I mean, look at this 23,000 oil, and this is not even fully developed. It still has a railway to develop, which is going to be a significant boost to that. So in the future, I'm not going to try to win this game without Baghdad again. Baghdad's got to be a crucial part of my plans. Um, Although I did enjoy watching James take it. I know it's fun to take it, and I thought I could take it. I thought I could win the game without it, which I think I could have actually if I could have passed through his lands and attacked over to here. I think we could have made that happen. But anyway, James Calloway comes back into the game and just massively attacks all along my corridor here. And he was part of the reason why I lost this oil field over here. So long story short, you know, weeks are passing. I'm going through COVID, and COVID is weird, man. Like, it makes you feel hazy. It makes you feel just kind of disconnected. There's maybe not everyone, but it did me. It makes you tired, low energy, kind of disconnected. It was a weird thing. So anyway, what's going on now? Let me just bring you up to date here. Is the only active player left in the game here, King, what's his name? Emperor of Africa here, is coming at me here and coming at me hard, and I don't blame him. And he has like 12 fighters somewhere, which is why I've been building balloons and sending them to the middle here. So you can see now in the middle, I finally have 5 balloons. Go ahead and send the rest of those in. I might just go ahead and marshal all my forces. I've got to the point now where I can build a balloon in 6 hours. So it's worth churning them out for that air defense. I don't think they suffer a penalty from multiple. Oh, why did I build a car? Cars are good too. How long is it going to take though? Same amount of time. Cars are good against air. Might as well mix it up a little bit. So um, I think from the old stats that balloons continue linear, so you can stack a whole bunch of them and get a lot of good defense in there. Right now, I'm just kind of holding steady with this formation. I think I can hold this pretty much guaranteed. He's got a lot of forces out there. Like I mentioned, he has a lot of territory, but he doesn't have any oil fields. Even his local oil field, he never did take. I guess that's because this is another large empire next to him here. He didn't dare or something. I don't know. But here's where I'm holding now. I'm holding steadily in Baghdad. I've got a skeleton force here. Like, if you've ever seen any of my other games, you should go watch the other one that I did, which was Mesopotamia start to finish. I like to have a lot of stuff stacked up and ready. So this game, it was actually kind of more fun because you can tell I'm playing this by the seat of my pants. I've never left my corridor to my bridgehead die before. I've always kept this open in the past. I've usually kept avenues between my oil fields open, even staking out territories that are threatening me, at outposts along the way. But in this case, I went fully fragmented. So each of my 4 oil fields are completely independent now and having to survive on their own. I went ahead and retook this first oil field I had. It became my last. Went ahead and retook that like a day and a half ago. And I'm just kind of trying to hang in here with forces that I cobbled together from here. And then I sent a bunch over that made their way slowly over to here. And then down, I had to reopen this corridor, which it is closed now since because I brought everything in here to protect it. And you can see I'm on the countdown clock here. 1 hour, 12, 1 day, 12 hours to go here. Oh, good. I just saw that I went ahead and built those 2 more bombers. Oh, but my corridor is gone. Damn it. Can I make it? I don't think I can make it. God damn it. Can I? Oh, nope. I certainly cannot. That sucks. Well, I can use them for defense here, I guess. Let me send them to the middle. They took a little too long to build, and I wasn't thinking about them building, so I let that corridor close. Should have held it a little bit longer, but I think I'm going to make it. A day and 12 hours, I think I can do that. I really do. I'm just going to keep on attacking outwards with my Air Force here. I have 8 bombers and 2 fighters over here, and I've got a decent land force here. Need to keep on building fortresses here as well. And if somebody comes in at me, I need to bring my artillery out. Don't have a lot of artillery there. 3. I've got a lot of tanks though. I've got 7 heavy and 6 regular tanks there. So that's going to give a lot of backbone to that force. So wanted to check in with you guys. I'm feeling a lot better now. So I'm going to resume normal casting probably sometime this week or maybe next week with a Nerf Surf and Turf game. We're going to kick off the new season, as it were, of me not being sick AF. With the Nerf Surf and Turf game. We'll organize that, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'll promote that as well with a couple of videos coming up. Meanwhile, I'm really just going to try to get really well. So my wife got COVID before I did, about 4 days before I did. So she's kind of experiencing everything that I am. We have the same vaccinations, the same boosters, and we must have gotten the same. I'm sure we got the same variant. And so I'm experiencing a lot of the same things as she is. And so she just said it's like a little by little, you start to feel a little more alert, a little less exhausted. One of the things I've been complaining about is I'm out of breath all the time, and I know that was one of the big early concerns about COVID. Is it is a pulmonary, it's a lung infection, and so I remember the concerns early on was they could put you on a respirator, but it wouldn't matter because the problem isn't getting air into your lungs. The problem is getting your lungs to absorb the oxygen. There's something about COVID that blocks, the villi in your lungs or whatever from grabbing that oxygen and sending it into your blood. And I'll tell you, man, I have felt that a lot the last couple of weeks, especially just kind of feeling out of breath all the time. And that sucks. It really, it's like you just kind of like you're drinking and you can't breathe while you're drinking. And so when you're done taking a swig of water, you're like, like, God damn, man. So, but she's been saying that gets a little better every day. So I'm happy to hear that. You can tell I seem to be able to cast just fine. But again, I'm feeling a little out of breath, trying to take it easy. So again, look for some stuff next week, maybe beginning of March or something. We'll start to coordinate a fun game. I will say the Nerf Surf and Turf has been one of the most fun and certainly the most popular games that we've played. So we're going to get that together. One of the complaints last time is that people weren't really able to choose their teams. So I would say right now, if you're listening to this, maybe start thinking about 2 people that you would like to play with. Remember, one of you is going to get land units, one of you is going to get air units, and the other naval units, and you can only build those units. Everyone gets infantry because those develop naturally, but you can only build the units of your class, of your specialty. So if you know a couple players that you really respect or that you really trust or that you guys have a good synergy, a good connection, then maybe start thinking about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a spreadsheet, and what you'll do is just go ahead and log on the teams, and then I think we'll just do placement by lottery. In other words, I'm just going to randomly choose, say team 5 gets to choose first. And then you can tell me which region you want. It's going to be the 31 player map. I've already got the regions plotted out. And so we'll start that coming up soon. So be looking out for that. Sorry for just disappearing. But man, when I had it early on, like I couldn't really speak for more than a few sentences without just hacking and coughing uncontrollably. So it just wouldn't have been appropriate to be casting like that. But I'm on the mend, guys. So thanks for hanging in there. I will be back soon with more, but I just wanted to kind of come back with this map, which is winding down, and say hello to everyone. I'm back. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. All right. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see y'all next time. As always, adios, amigos.